Hi guys, this will be chapter 7 in my series, My Crazy Life Story. And this will be titled, Got Really Sick This Year and a Dog Named Blacky. And I have just a couple drawings I did when I was, from 1965, so I was 7 years old. And one picture that I'll show at the end, okay? And, I have made so much artwork in my life. Anywhere from dream catchers as big as a wall, to all different sizes of dream catchers, to drawings, to paintings, to just everything. So pottery, I loved art. I still love art. I don't have time to do art, but I still love it. So anyway, and raising 3 daughters by myself, with no child support or emotional support or anything, I would draw people pictures of their favorite thing that they wanted. So a lot of my artwork, most of it has been given away as gifts. Some of it was stolen by kind of an ex-boyfriend. Anyway, that's a whole nother story, and I can tell you that later on, when we get there. But anyway, so let's get started. Shortly after moving to Lakeshore, I took a walk around the block, and there were these 2 old people sitting in lawn chairs, and they had a black cocker spaniel. So I went up and introduced myself and got to sit there and play with their dog. Their dog was named Blacky. And he was so cute. Oh my gosh. He kind of took the place of, well, he didn't take the place of, but he kind of filled that void of my lion being, because I moved and I couldn't pet my lion anymore. I couldn't go to the zoo anymore. So Blacky really kind of saved me, because I love animals. I've always loved animals. I still do. All types of animals. Well, I'm not real fond of snakes. Garter snakes I'm cool with, but any other snake, no. No, I'm not into big boa constrictors or any of, I just feel like they're untamable. You know what I mean? They're wild. I don't think you can take the wild out of a big boa constrictor or a anaconda or a rattlesnake or anything. They're just wild animals, and I feel like they should be left in the woods, not be kept as pets in cages. But whatever you do is fine. I'm not really making any judgments here. It's just a judgment for myself, okay? Okay, so it was the beginning of summer, so I got to go every single day to the neighbor's house. The old people's names were Herb and Louise. After a couple of weeks, I started calling them Uncle Herb and Aunt Louise. Uncle Herb was a man of few words, and I never felt close to him. But I loved Aunt Louise so very much, and we got really close during that time. Louise stayed home while Herb still worked 8 hours a day. They were both mild alcoholics, not falling down drunk or anything like that, but they did get their buzz on every day. Every couple of days, Aunt Louise and I would walk over to the small liquor store. Sorry, gotta turn the page. Got about 3 pages here, almost 3. We'd walk over to the liquor store, and I would buy a couple of small bottles, or she would buy, not me, she would buy a couple of small bottles of liquor. I think they were called half pints, and think it was vodka, but I just don't know for sure. It was clear alcohol, though. And she would say every single time, "Now don't tell your Uncle Herb." I said, I won't. Every single time. We were over there every couple of days for, like a year. Then we would walk back to her house where we would hide the bottles in back of the freezer. I never told on her, or I never told anyone else. So I know to this day how to keep a secret. She taught me how to keep a secret, my Aunt Louise. And did I tell you, I'm going to show you one school picture at the end after I get through reading all this to you, and a couple of art things that I did a long time ago. Okay, by the time school started, I ended up getting tonsillitis and strep throat at the same time. Whew. I remember it like yesterday. Aunt Louise volunteered to care for me at her house while my mom and grandparents were at work. I was super sick for about 6 weeks, and I almost died. I slept on their couch, and Aunt Louise would fix me soup and tea, but it hurt really bad to swallow, so I ended up losing about 20 pounds, and I only weighed about 60 to start with, or around there. So it was a lot of weight that I lost because I just couldn't swallow anything. And I was skinny as a rail. She was so good to me, and I miss her dearly, and Blacky too. I miss Uncle Herb too, but I just don't think he really liked kids much, and always felt he just tolerated me. He probably hated his job, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know. He was the only one working. He was a breadwinner, And Aunt Louise stayed home. I'm not sure if she ever had a job. He might have, this is back in the early 60s. So, a lot of families back then, the husband or father would go to work while the woman stayed home and kept the house, and that's how they did things back then. And I don't think there was a whole lot of jobs for women, although my grandma was a linotypist and a proofreader at the newspaper, and my mom was a waitress, for cocktails, and that's a cocktail waitress. There you go. Okay, so around that time, my brother would wake me up to go steal all the kids' bikes in the neighborhood. But I didn't realize at all what we were doing or why. I guess he would come and wake me up at like 5 in the morning or something. I mean, I heard these stories over and over. And then him and I would go out, and he would tell me to ride a little bicycle home or a little tricycle, and he would ride a bike. Well, we did this for an hour or two until the whole front yard was full of all the kids' bikes and, trikes and all that in our front yard. He wasn't a very smart thief. He wasn't. He was always a bad guy, my brother. He was my half-brother, but there wasn't a good bone in his body since the day he was born, I don't think. Always in trouble, and always getting me in trouble too. My grandparents would wake up to the whole front yard full of bikes. Geez, and then I wrote LOL. Also around this time, I wanted to make a lamp. Like I'm 6 or 7 years old and I want to make a lamp. Like, what kid wants to make a lamp, I was a weird kid. I was. And I wanted to make it out of paper mache. So my grandpa took me to the art store to get everything. After I made it, I didn't like it. And I didn't think about electricity until later. I figured it would cause a fire, so I threw it away, defeated. But just keep trying on your projects. If one fails, maybe the next one will succeed, I don't know. But then this is the end of chapter 7. And here, I'll show you a couple of funny pictures. Now this is me. I think this was first grade when I was 7 years old. So there again, my hair was in those little pink curlers all night and very uncomfortable. And also you can see in my eyes that I was, just tired from my heart condition. I just never felt good. I never had the energy to run around and do ornery things like most kids. So they always said, oh, you were the best kid. Well, the only reason I was the best kid is because I didn't have the energy to run around and do stupid stuff, like all the other kids. But anyway, so that's me when I was 7. And okay, and I used to love drawing these things out of the newspaper and magazines and stuff. Well, I guess I'll show you this one first. So this one is from 1965, and it was a commercial art scholarship. It was a mail-in contest, and I won first place. But I was denied the scholarship because of my age. I was only 7 years old. So they sent me back my picture in a big envelope, and they said, oh, words of encouragement. And I don't have that letter. God dang, I wish I did. But anyway, this was their dog, and this was my dog that I duplicated. That was the assignment. So there I am. I think there was like a couple of dark lines, like this one. I think there was one down the neck. Something to kind of go by. I think there are a couple like on the paw right there. So I had a little bit of guidance, but I feel like this was a pretty darn good picture, likeness. And apparently they thought so too. So I'm not sure. This looks weird. This is supposed to be the other ear. Okay, I got it now. I should have drawn more right there. But anyway, that was when I was 7 years old. And then I just started doing them out of fun, and I didn't ever send them back in, So this was Spunky. And, oh, God, these have been jostled around. So this was Spunky. Oh, God, the lighting is bad. So it got rubbed off, I don't know, moving. I've moved a million times, so it used to be darker. But anyway, and I didn't cut out the picture to show you the one that they had, and I had to duplicate it. But anyway, it looked exactly like that. And then this was Tiny, a little like birthday mouse. So these were all when I was 7 years old. So that's pretty good for a 7-year-old, don't you think? I think it's pretty good for a 7-year-old to draw that. And I always felt kind of like I was an old soul. I like to draw things that were like different and, just not like your typical house and yard or whatever, like a 7-year-old would do, or, how they do the sun in the corner. I was just never that kid. I was very, very detail oriented, I guess because I'm a Virgo, but anyway, I don't know. But anyway, okay, guys, that's chapter 7. And the next chapter will be about me moving to California. All right? Okay, you guys have a good one. And thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you watching and your likes, your shares, your subs. I appreciate all that. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye.